Our affirmation today is, God within me is my constant source of supply, comfort, and strength. And we know that he absolutely is, especially as New Thought students. This is a real core tenet value that we have within us. We know that God is the source of our supply, our needs, any challenges that we're experiencing, we connect with the power and the presence of God, and these things are easily walked through. Not always easily, I shouldn't say that. There are the challenges, but of course there's that great comfort of walking through this, knowing that God is with us. So often I hear people, even New Thought students or people that I share information with, as you go through life, and perhaps the slip of the tongue happened to all of us, is, somebody will be in a situation where, oh, that's so great, but I can't afford that. I don't have enough money for that. Or, you know what, this cough, this illness, I'm never going to get over it. And I remind people at the time, and I wonder sometimes that I sound like a nag, and I said, well, you know what, of course you don't have the money because you just told God and the universe that you don't have the money. So you have to be aware of the fact that our words and our thoughts have this power. And if God is going to be the constant source of your supply, comfort, and strength, you've got to let him know. You've got to be there positive with your positive statements and your positive affirmations. And we certainly use a lot of affirmations and a lot of positive statements here in our fellowship. But the important thing is that we don't get to this place where we become so unaware of the negative thoughts and the negative things that we say, because these do become the thing that drive and control our lives. And we need to reconnect with that power and that presence of God. And the way that we do that is we stay positive and we hold on to our affirmations and we go through our scripture readings and we have our time of meditation, our time of oneness with God. These are very important things so that we do stay on this course, that we're living these great lives of happiness and great health and great prosperity, which is meant for us. Our question this week, and so as you're going through the week and going through your chores, it's important to ask ourselves, do I control my thoughts or do my thoughts control me? So when we're going through a process or a situation where we're upset or we have some economic challenge or a health challenge, do you let your mind become bogged down in the worry and the fear and the challenge of the situation? Or do you have the control over your mind to stay positive, to think positive, to know that these are just temporary circumstances and situations, that if you're not in a good, happy place, that's not where God meant for you to be. And you get there by controlling your thoughts, not letting them control you. It's a perfect example. Last week was our week back from our week off of church, and a few things had not lined up for me. We all have those bad mornings. And my thinking was so disconnected, and I couldn't hold on to a thought up here to save my life. I was just all over the place. And this happens. It's so easy for us to get into a situation of negativity. Something happens in the outside world that we let change our inside world, our inner way of thinking, and also the fact that we can be relaxed and calm in all these situations. Our meditation this morning focused on relaxation and the fact that in so many circumstances and situations, we just need to let go and let God. Let go and let God guide and direct us. Because if we hold on to things and we try to force it and we think that we have this steering wheel of our lives, that we're just going to be in control of every single twist and turn and try to force it, then of course there's no relaxation. We're like a tense drum. That good can't flow in you and again flow out of you. So in this process of understanding that God is the constant source of your supply and your comfort and strength, we need to realize that in this process, we need to let go and let God. We need to be relaxed in all situations. It's just like Reverend Virginia was saying earlier, that she asks God for the grace to be graceful in all situations and all circumstances. Because as anyone can tell you, and I know, when you're in hospitals and when you're around strange people, and a lot of times it's easy to become uncomfortable or grumpy and not your best person. So we need to ask to be aligned with that grace, to be aligned with that presence and power of God, to be graceful. And so relaxation is a big part of this, to not be tense, not be upset. So as you go through the week and you ask yourselves, do I control my thoughts or do my thoughts control me? Do I get anxious and upset and uptight over these little things that happen? Or am I the one that's controlling everything because I know that all of this will pass too, that God is the source of my supply. None of these things are going to really affect me in the long run. I'm in control. I am in control because God within me is my constant source of supply and strength. And the good news is that our thoughts can change our lives. That's why it's so important that we have control of our thoughts. Don't let our thoughts have control of us. Our thoughts can change our lives. We can use all the talents and abilities that God has stored up in the treasury of our minds. You know, scientists talk about this all the time, that mankind, we probably don't use 1/10 of the power that's in our mind. And we know from reading the scriptures all of the miracles that Christ performed. So there we have the idea that he was so in tune with the power of his mind. He was so connected with God. That's why he was able to do these things. And he tells us in scriptures too, all these things I do, you can do, and more. We just need to relax and let the power of God in and guide us and direct us to these greater things. As I was saying, the good news is our thoughts can change our lives, and we can use all of these talents and abilities that God has stored up in the treasure of our mind and recognize the flow of love between ourselves and infinite intelligence, which is God. So we need to daily understand and recognize that flow between us. That's right there for all of us. We just need to relax, sometimes let go, let God, and acknowledge that God within is the constant source of supply, comfort, and strength. It is absolutely how you think and how we approach our lives, because our thoughts can change our lives, absolutely, and they positively absolutely do. And you have control over your thoughts. That means that you have control over your world, your destiny, and all the happiness and health and prosperity that God has intended for you.